Hello everyone, just following up from a question that we had in the group from Becky, who was asking about making her own clothes and how much space she would she need a mannequin, and how to read clothes patterns. So I thought the best thing to do would be to do a quick video just explaining how to read the pattern envelope for when you want to make an item, whether it's for yourself or your children or something like that. Regarding space, as long as you've got a flat table that you can lay the pattern pieces out on, you don't need to have too much space. So if you've got a dining table or something like that, or even an ironing board. And regarding mannequin, it really isn't necessary to have a mannequin, especially when you're starting off. If you then go on to decide that you want to make lots of clothes for yourself, then yes, a mannequin may be useful, but it absolutely isn't necessary for when you're beginning. So let's go through the pattern and pattern pieces. So this is just a pattern that I found, and it's a butterick pattern, as you can see, and it's a dress pattern. So this is the front of the pattern envelope. Just going to try and move the camera down a bit. That gives you a bit better view. Okay, so the front of the pattern is like the book cover. So it's going to entice you in to make the item. And then on the back of the pattern envelope, you'll see at the top here we have measurements. So we're looking, as it's a dress, at the bust, waist and hip measurements, and these are in inches. One thing I would just say is that a lot of the patterns are American sizing, so it's really important to not go by the size of clothes that you would buy in the high street shops, and to actually go by the measurements, the actual measurements from your body shape, and not by the sizing here. So this sizing here will tell you as the pattern pieces are multi-sized, and you then cut out at the position that you want, then that's why there's lots of sizes on here, but it isn't necessarily related to your size from the high street. And as we then go down the pattern envelope, you'll see a bit more of a description about the pattern and the dresses inside. And if we go down to the bottom, you can see that there's lots of different views. So we've got A, B, C, D, E and F, and they all relate to whether it's short sleeves, long sleeved, no sleeves, if it's got pockets, if it's got a sash, if it's got an extra collar. So that you just choose the view that you want, which on the front here you can see the different views as well in colour. And so you choose the view that you want, or the design that you want, then that will then tell you what it is. So here's the description up here. So if you're doing sleeveless contrast colour, then the next part of the pattern is the notions. So that will tell you if you need zips, hooks and eyes, or if you need buttons and those sort of accessories. And then you get suitable fabrics that could be used for that pattern. Next bit down, you look down the sizing that you're going to be making from this pattern, and this will give you then the meterage that you need. So that will tell you how much you need of the fabric. Fabric normally come in 2 widths, so this one is in inches, so it's saying 45 inches or 60 inches. So then you just look along to where you need to be, and then that's the figure that tells you what you need, how much fabric you need. And then here is fusible interfacing, so that will be used for the collar all the sashes and around the necklines, and so that you'll need some of that as well. So again, look down for the column of the size that you need, and then take the measurements from there. So that's how you read the back of the pattern. So that's the pattern envelope. Then inside the pattern you will have some instruction sheets. So this again has got the sketches for the pattern, or the dress options. It's got the layout of the pattern pieces, and then over on here it tells you how to lay out the pattern pieces, whether they should be right side up or right side down, and if they need to be on the fold of the fabric or on the selvage of the fabric. So if we have a look at this dress here, so you can see in this diagram here, the FP is the fold line and the SL is the selvage line. So the front of this dress is going to be in one piece. So the pattern piece number 1 is of half of a dress front. So by cutting it on the fold, it means that then you'll have the whole of the dress front. Pattern piece number 2 is put on the selvage because the back is made up of 2 pieces, because there's a zip going down the centre as well. So that's why that can be on the selvage, doesn't need to be on the fold. So the instruction sheet will then give you all the steps that you need to do to make up the dress, and some guidance as well on that. So that will be inside the pattern envelope. And then also inside the pattern envelope, as we've said, are the pattern pieces. And so, as you can see, they are multi-size patterns. So you would then just need to cut the line of the sizing that you're doing. So if you're doing size 22, that's it, the furthest line, the outside line. These little triangles here, they are notches. And what I would normally do is, as you're cutting down here, cut a notch, so a triangle that comes out into the fabric, and then when you come to put the pieces together, you can match up those notches so you know that the pieces are going to match. And here we have some double notches as well. So hopefully that has given you a bit of an insight into how to read a pattern. I'm just going to check that we've got everything. So important to get accurate measurements for yourself before you start. So that's for dresses, bust, waist and hip. And then your measurements will dictate which size you then use of the fabric and how much fabric you will need. It's advised to wash your fabric once you buy it, because in the manufacturing process there's often a layer which is called sizing over the fabric. So by washing it and pressing it before you cut it, it then allows for any slight shrinkage there may be, so that you don't cut it out, put it all together, and then when you wash it, it then shrinks a bit. So that's what you're advised to do, is to wash the fabric before you then lay it out and cut. It's also advisable to, if it's the first time of doing a pattern, to make what they call a toile in calico. And that just helps you get used to the pattern, lay out the pieces. If you need to make any adjustments for anything, you can then do it on the toile, and you're not then wasting your good fabric for the dress. And you then can go through all the techniques that you would need to make the dress in full. So hopefully that's explained a bit of patterns, and I will put this video in the group for you to have a look at, and I will see you all soon. Take care.